Narrator. Adolf Hitler launches a massive surprise attack in the dead of winter. Nazi forces smash through the weakest spot in the Allied line. They capture thousands of American soldiers across the Ardennes forest and completely surround the 101st Airborne Division at Bastogne. Patton vows that his Third Army will ride to the rescue. As conditions worsen, Patton and his men charge into a frozen hell, knowing they may be the Allies' only hope in the West. General George Patton, his bold attacks are legendary. See the war as he saw it and ride along with his hard-fighting troops as they battle their way through World War II. On this 360-degree battlefield, Patton's enemies could be anywhere and everywhere. There's nowhere to run when the war is all around. Patton 360, Battle of the Bulge. 6 months after D-Day, the Allies are set for a final push into Germany. All the top generals think the Nazis are finished, but Hitler hasn't given up. He strikes the Allied line at its weakest point. American reserves are pushed back for miles, creating a massive bulge in the Allied front. George Patton's 4th Armored Division drives north to counter the attack in what will become known as the Battle of the Bulge. Patton is drawn into the fight in a dramatic and critical way, one many would later call his finest hour. December 23, 1944, Flatzbohrhof, Luxembourg. Captain Jimmy Leach's company of the 37th Tank Battalion grinds toward a train station half a mile ahead. Leach has been fighting non-stop since Normandy with the 4th Armored Division. Snow lies knee-deep. As the advance guard enters Flatzbohrhof, German fire erupts from the left front. One American tank is knocked out and 2 soldiers are killed. Fire pours in from a tree line and possibly from across the railroad tracks. Leach spots 2 German self-propelled anti-tank guns and a captured Sherman tank bearing a Bokenkreuz. His first shots strike the railroad tracks short of the target. Adjusting forward, his gunner finally clears the tracks and destroys the German guns. The immediate danger is gone, but it's only the beginning. 1 mile north, in the village of Bougainville, German paratroopers prepare for a deadly fight. Across the Ardennes, hundreds of similar battles rage. Now it's up to Patton to turn the tide back in the Allies' favor. Patton's daring pledge to relieve Bastogne. Flashback, December 16, 1944. Despite slowing the Allied advance, Hitler is losing ground everywhere. Soviet forces push from the east while Allied troops advance through Italy. Patton's Third Army attacks the fortified Siegfried Line, keeping relentless pressure on the Germans. Then the Germans strike the Ardennes with a massive blow, 20 divisions across a 60-mile front. Hitler's goal is to split Montgomery's 21st Army Group from Bradley's 12th Army Group and seize Antwerp, the Allies' critical supply port. In the south, the German 5th Panzer Army captures more than 7,000 American soldiers and surrounds Bastogne, trapping the 101st Airborne Division. German commandos disguised as Americans infiltrate Allied lines, spreading confusion. When Eisenhower calls a meeting in Verdun, Patton already has units moving north. Asked how quickly he can attack, Patton shocks the room by saying 3 divisions in 2 days. Eisenhower doubts him, but Patton insists. His mission, relieve Bastogne, 140 miles away. Patton personally coordinates the massive movement, roads, fuel, logistics, conducting the operation like a master conductor. But weather becomes the greatest obstacle. Snow, sleet, and fog ground reconnaissance aircraft. Patton must advance blind. At the spearhead, the feared 4th Armored Division, nicknamed Roosevelt's Butchers by the Germans. The 4th Armored's frigid drive north. By December 22, the 4th Armored fights through Europe's harshest winter in decades. Its commander, General John "Tiger Jack" Wood, has recently been relieved, devastating morale, but the division presses on. Soldiers endure unimaginable cold. Weapons freeze. Boots harden like stone. Recon Sergeant Hal Mayforth sleeps with his rifle and boots inside his sleeping bag to keep them from freezing. The brutal battle for Chaumont. At dawn on December 23, Combat Command B reaches Chaumont. German tank destroyers ambush the column. Lieutenant Jim Bennett is killed directing fire. German paratroopers open fire from the woods. Machine guns freeze solid, one soldier urinates on his weapon to thaw it and keep fighting. 15 German Sturmgeschütz tank destroyers unleash devastating fire, but American Shermans counterattack and seize the high ground. After fierce fighting, Chaumont falls, but the road to Bastogne remains blocked. A massive German counterattack follows. Jag-Tiger tank destroyers smash into American armor. One Sherman is struck so violently it is shoved sideways, but miraculously survives. Losses are severe. The fight halts temporarily. 12 miles ahead, Bastogne still holds out, hoping Patton arrives in time. The siege of Bastogne and nuts. Inside Bastogne, rifles freeze. Oil hardens. Wounded soldiers volunteer to return to the line. German General von Luttwitz demands surrender. General McAuliffe replies with one word, nuts. Artillery rains down. If Patton fails, the 101st Airborne will be destroyed. Christmas Eve and the final push. On December 24, clear skies allow Allied aircraft to fly. Patton radios Bastogne, Christmas Eve present coming, hold on. Patton personally drives to the front, pushing his troops forward despite fierce resistance. He orders an all-night maneuver around the German flank. On Christmas morning, exhausted American tanks attack again. Colonel Creighton Abrams sees an opportunity, through the village of Assinois, straight to Bastogne. After an artillery barrage, 3 Sherman tanks break through. Lieutenant Charles Boggess advances without stopping, firing left and right. Suddenly, an American soldier appears. I'm Corporal Miller, 101st Airborne. Bastogne is relieved. Patton's finest hour. The Battle of the Bulge is Hitler's final punch, and Patton punches back harder. The relief of Bastogne becomes one of the greatest Allied achievements of the war. Patton writes to his wife. The relief of Bastogne is the most brilliant operation we have thus far performed. But there is no rest. Germany still fights. The road ahead leads straight into the heart of the Reich, where the final, brutal battles of the war await. Closing the Bulge. Though Bastogne is freed, fighting continues into January 1945. Soldiers suffer frostbite, trench foot, and exhaustion. African-American tankers of the 761st Tank Battalion fight heroically in brutal conditions. Patton visits wounded soldiers, praising their sacrifice. By late January, the German offensive collapses. Hitler's last gamble has failed.